Trent Alexander Arnold. He is doing things that no one else in the world can do. He's almost becoming like a Bellingham since he switched to Adidas. Man City last minute equaliser. Worldie today. Technically 2 worldies, but 1 doesn't count. This guy goes into midfield and I'm like, I don't know what I'm witnessing. It kills me to say this as a Man United fan, but I don't think I've ever seen a right back that can do what Trent does. Now, I'm not saying that Trent is the best right back in the world in terms of the right back position, but he's the best right back in the world in terms of his all-round ability, his ball striking, so many attributes as a footballer, and he's coming in clutch for Liverpool today, and I hate it. Liverpool were not great. They weren't great. Núñez missed some chances. They looked a bit vulnerable at the back. Fulham got through them easily. I thought, yes, they're going to drop points. 3-2 Fulham. Oh, I celebrated when it was 3-2 Fulham. I thought, get in. They're definitely dropping points. They don't look like scoring. They sub on Endo, screamer. Trent, 89th minute. Bloody screamer. Trent has done it again. And you know what? That is a sign, and it kills me to say this, of Premier League champions. The ability to not play well but come up with these clutch goals versus Manchester City, versus Fulham, those winners, and it being someone like Trent. When you have games where you dominate and you play brilliant, and then you have games where you don't play great but you still grind out a win because Liverpool are consistently winning. This is giving me 18-19 Liverpool, 19-20 Liverpool. I'm worried that they can seriously win the league. I mean, look, there's a few flaws in terms of, I think Liverpool are a lot easier to play through than the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal, and I think maybe them not having that 6 makes them a bit more vulnerable defensively because McAllister's not a natural holding player. But it's that squad, and it kills me to say this because all I want to see at Man United is squad unity, a squad that works together, a squad that dies together, a squad that gives everything together. And you see that at Liverpool. You looked at the face of all the Liverpool players, the unity, what that goal meant to Trent Alexander Arnold. And it makes me so jealous as a United fan because I just watched my team play yesterday, walk versus Newcastle, not try, not give a crap about this club. But Liverpool are a team where every single player on that pitch is giving 110%. Every single player, even if they're not at their best, they're finding a way, they're determined, they're never giving up. You could see what it meant to that club. You could see what Liverpool means to those players. And that's what hurts as a United fan because that is what we don't have right now and that's what Liverpool has. And when you have that, you find ways to win games. And I think Jurgen Klopp managed the game really well. Bringing on Endo, I actually think, even though he's not an attacking player, it brought more balance to the midfield, having a natural 6, which means you can create more. I was screaming at Ten Hag yesterday because I was saying you can change the attackers all you want, but if you're keeping this unbalanced midfield with McTominay on, we're not going to get the ball to the attack anyway. And we didn't get the ball to attack anyway versus Newcastle because we had the same midfield that couldn't progress the ball. But because Klopp brought on Endo, it made Liverpool just a little bit more control in midfield, and Endo got one of the goals of the season. Unbelievable goal there. And it's mad to think that Liverpool scored 4 bangers today. Liverpool weren't great. Performance-wise, they weren't great, but they've just got the best result with 4 of the best goals. You're thinking 4 screamers, you score 4 goals, you're thinking, oh, Liverpool must have had a field day. But they didn't. But it was that guy, Trent Alexander-Arnold, that we want to talk about. I do want to talk about Endo. I do want to talk about a few Liverpool players. I do want to talk about things as well. But I want to quickly dive into this segment on Trent. I think he's the world's best in terms of all-round footballing abilities at right back. I still think Trippier's probably in terms of right back been the best right back in the league this season. But you're looking at all-round ability, you're probably thinking Trent. Look at this stat. Trent Alexander-Arnold this season versus PL right backs per 90. Through passes first, penalties, passes to the penalty area first, passes to the final third pass, progressive passes second, long passes second, forward passes second, shots second. Absolutely unbelievable this season. It's been scary how good Trent Alexander-Arnold has been. And if I get this on a bigger screen here as well and zoom in, you can look at his metrics here, like 80% off for expected assists, 99% off for progressive passes. You can look at his progressive passes and assists, his attacking output, and he's unreal. Now, defensively, there's been a lot of criticism over Trent, which is, I think, why he might inevitably turn into a midfielder, and maybe Liverpool will look at a right back and potentially a DM going into next season. But he does things on the ball I don't think any other player does. It kills me to say this, but he is world class. There's things that, especially since he's put on those Adidas boots, the goals he's scoring, the screamers, his ball striking ability, his ability to pass, to hit the ball so well. No one can do that. Trippier's been unbelievable this season in terms of maybe a right back who consistently plays at right back. You can say Trippier's been the best this season, but in terms of a playmaker, in terms of a player that can change the game, in terms of all-round ability, Trent is the best right back in the world right now, turning into midfielder. Trent is giving off that Bellingham kind of energy with those goals. Obviously, Bellingham was an attacking midfielder, Trent's a right back coming into midfield. But it's mad. It's absolutely mad. It feels like Trent can do anything. And when you're clutch players is one of the most important things. If you're a clutch player, you can win games. And that's why Salah's always one of those players that you can never rule out scoring. Salah can have a quiet game for 89 minutes, and he's that type of guy that can pop up and score today. And Trent's sort of becoming that clutch player who originally was a right back. And if you look at Trent's statistics here, and I'll zoom out here for you here, 81% pass accuracy, 102 touches he had. He was so involved in the game. 66 passes, 8 long balls completed, which is mad. 3 ground drills, 2 key passes, 26 passes into the final third, 2 chances created and a goal. You could argue 2 goals. He was just a different level today. Him and Endo were fantastic today, but Trent just showed he was a different level today. And Liverpool are just relentless at the moment. It drives me crazy because I'm worried because you can never rule them out. At Anfield, they could be 3-0 down with 10 minutes to go, and you still couldn't rule out them winning 4-3. There's something about them at Anfield where they are so relentless. They could be losing 3-0, but you just have a feeling they're going to score. And I'll be honest, as a rival, you have to give them respect for it. Their ability to make sure they win, their ability at home, their ability to play and get those clutch goals, you have to respect it. They're mentality monsters. And I'll be honest, it makes me really jealous. Like, I can't lie to you there. But, at home this season, 35 goals, 7 conceded, 6 clean sheets. And look, Trent is coming in clutch. And they've already played the hardest game of the season away against Man City. They'll have Man City at home, which they might win. And I generally worry Liverpool can win the league. I think defensively they're a little bit vulnerable because they're easy to play through. And maybe that will cost them because Man City and Arsenal are way more defensively compact with them. But they just seem to have it. And maybe Arsenal have it as well when Man City have it, but they just seem to have it. And I want to talk about Mo Salah today, who didn't have his most lively, best Mo Salah game. But when you've got Alisson, who's the best goalkeeper in the world, when you've got Van Dijk, who is arguably the best centre-back in the world, and when you've got a player like Trent, who is kind of the best in the world in terms of his all-round ability for right back, although he's moving into midfield. And then you have a player like Salah, who's one of the best in the world. He's been ridiculously consistent in 2023 that no one is talking about with his contributions. You do look at it and you do think, okay, like they've got these players, they've got some incredibly talented players. They could seriously win the league. They could seriously do something. And it kills me because it feels like it's an Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City title race. I need Spurs to do something. And Son has literally just scored about 30 seconds before I said that. So hopefully Spurs can win. Win for me, Spurs. Win for me, Spurs. Because, wow. And look at this. Players that have scored or assisted in 16 consecutive games. Salah is with Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry there. That is absolutely elite company, people. Absolutely elite company. He's a top player. But if we actually dive into the game and speak about the game, I'll be honest, Liverpool weren't great. They did have the more chances. Darwin Núñez could have got 1 or 2. And I think Darwin Núñez's all-round game was good. His work rate's good, but his ability to finish isn't good enough. And I think he'll be thanking Trent today. Liverpool had 4 big chances to Fulham's 2, 62% possession. I think, to be honest, a fair score probably would have been a draw in terms of performance-wise. But Liverpool just have that extra quality. And when you've got players like Trent, like Salah, you can be average, you can be not at your day. But when you have players of that quality, you can just be clutch and you can go boom and you can get the goals as well. I do think Endo deserves a shout out. A lot of Liverpool fans have been writing him off, but he brings in that calmness, that experience. Reminds me a little bit of Milner in that sense. And I think he helps Liverpool midfield get a bit balanced, which might help them with sort of retention and might improve them defensively. And I think that's something that Endo could bring in just because he's a natural 6, even though he's not like a 6 that you're like, wow, he is a natural 6. In all honesty, I thought that Kelleher was poor, and I really hope that Alisson is injured up until the Man United game. I'd rather come. Not that I think Man United are going to go and win against Liverpool at all. I think we're going to get battered. But if Kelleher can stay and goal instead of Alisson, that would be appreciated as a United fan. I don't think Kelleher is a bad keeper, but when you compare him to Alisson and the levels Alisson brings, you can see that Kelleher and not many other keepers are anywhere near Alisson as well. I do think Klopp got his subs right 100%. But all in all, Trent unreal. Endo with the finish was great. Kelleher needs to do better. Defensively, they were weak. Nuno should have put some chances away. He did work his socks off. And I thought Joe Gomez was really, really good when he came on. I really do. Anyway, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.